Yo, what up everybody? Welcome to our brand new show, the OG's Organic Gardening Show. I'm your host Jason, the OG from EG, living large out here in the IHB, and today we're gonna clear and restart the garden for our new season. All right, so the first thing we need to do is clear the garden. The garden is a mess right now because it's the end of summer here in Florida, and in summer in Florida, very few things grow. A lot of people just don't grow anything in the summer. You just let your garden die out, and we start first week of September. Seeds go in the ground first week of September in Florida. We let them survive the winter, come in through the spring, and all the way to May we get beautiful plants. And usually after May you just let everything die out and you wait for September again. So here we are, it's September 1st. Seeds are going in the ground soon. So we're gonna clear out what we can, and I'm gonna be really careful because underneath a lot of these weeds and stuff, there's new plants growing. Sometimes there's new tomatoes growing. We call them volunteers. So we're gonna look for some volunteers. All right, we're clearing weeds. This is obviously gonna take a little while, and we're gonna be as careful as we can. We wanna keep our good soil. You don't wanna throw all your soil out. And these are just some weeds. And what is a weed, folks? A weed is simply a flower that's in an undesired location. There's no such thing as a weed. A weed is a flower. If you like the flowers, then they're flowers. If you don't want the flower there, guess what? It's a weed. So in this case, we have these flowers, which we're gonna call weeds. We don't want them. And you wanna be extra careful because if you notice, this is the babies. So if you go like this, these are gonna make babies. So that's what's gonna seed the undesired flowers, AKA weeds, that we don't want. And if you notice here, we have a dried out, beautiful basil. These are basil. Look at these basil seeds. These basil seeds will grow basils non-stop. Basils love this garden, and they grow almost non-stop on their own. So I'm gonna be real careful weeding around the basil plant, and we're gonna salvage these weeds and we're gonna put them in a little bag in a little bit. But for now, we're just gonna keep clearing by hand. We don't wanna do any tilling. We don't want to disturb all the happy little things that are living in this garden. Some people choose to till gardens. Some people, you could choose to just take everything out, till the whole garden, re-aerate everything, and start over, and that's a fine option. But in the garden house, we like to leave all our little critters and things living. Be careful to pull out the stuff we don't want, topsoil a few layers of nice things, let everything underneath to keep doing its thing, and we go from there. All right, so right now we're clearing our marigolds, which is one of my favorite plants that we plant from seed here. We usually border the garden in marigolds because the flower of the marigold repels a lot of different insects, believe it or not. So marigolds, good flowers are in your garden. And these are the females that have given up the ghost. We're gonna save our soil, and any hard firewood type stuff like this, we're not going to throw this out. We're going to put it in our trusty little four-wheeler, our Gorilla Cart, one of the best things you can get in the garden, rather than having a three-wheel wheelbarrow, which takes a lot of strength and energy. This baby got 4 wheels, and it even has a little dump on it. Highly recommended for gardening, for anything around your house. So we're going to save our hardwoods for our fire pit. Anything that's a weed, we don't want to save, even though we have compost bins, which we're gonna put certain things in a compost bin, your food, dried leaves. We don't wanna put the weeds in the compost bin. I don't wanna put the weeds in the compost bin in case the seeds of the weeds survive, and then you go to plant your compost in your garden, and now you're planting seeds and weeds. And seeds are tough little buggers. They can last for years and years and years, dormant. So we're gonna throw out weeds. We're gonna save anything crunchy and dry, and we're gonna keep moving. All right, now another thing we've discovered as we're clearing the garden here is a very interesting succulent. It's called a purslane. If you look at these flowers, all these little babies here, I have been pulling these weeds, what I thought were weeds, for many, many years here in this garden, only to find out that this is an edible, tasty, succulent flower that you can put in all kinds of soups, and we make soups now here with purslane. So I've been throwing these things out for how many years, I can't even count, and they're trying to feed us. The garden gods are trying to feed us, and we're not listening. But thankfully, you can't get rid of these. If you tried, I could never get rid of these purslanes. I could pull these things 24 hours a day, and there would be purslanes. So for things that I want that aren't doing very well, we can pull these. Actually, I will leave this little guy. But anyone dried out purslanes, they're gonna go in our compost bin, because I'd like these to reseed and keep growing. So remember, keep purslane. It's a very tasty succulent. Whoa, look at this sucker. And we gotta be careful while we're clearing, because while we're clearing all this stuff, look what we've discovered still growing. Sweet potatoes. We have sweet potatoes still growing from the last season, so we don't want to accidentally rip them out of the ground. So let's clear around them and see what we got. All right, and we have, look at this baby. We have discovered the potato, our sweet potato that we grew in the window in the kitchen. We stuck him in a glass of water, and he grew for about 2 weeks in the kitchen. And we just stuck him in the ground, and look at this baby growing all over the place. We might be eating some sweet potatoes. Oh, and look, we even found a pineapple. All right, so the next thing we got in the garden is we got our petrified sunflower stalks, which we're gonna try to save the heads off of here and replant some of them. And the stalks we're gonna just send to the great compost pile in the sky, our bonfire. We're gonna pull all these babies out, and we'll just make a little pile right over here. Yo, look who we got in the house. What's going on? It's Benny in the house. We got Banana River Ben in the house.
All right.
From the Banana River Yard on South Patrick.
Baby bananas right here.
Oh, what do we got here, Ben?
Oh, a bunch of cool stuff for you guys. We got some perennial herbs and a couple really neat things we want to gift to you guys for the garden here.
Wow.
To get your food forest going.
What do we got here?
Some Costa Rica mint, pretty hard to find around here. It's really fragrant. If you rub the leaf and smell it, it's great for teas, and they make some yummy desserts with it.
Costa Rican mint?
Costa Rican mint.
Costa Rican mint. What do we got here?
That's a Cuban oregano. It's a variegated variety. That's the one of the ingredients in Cuban black beans.
Ooh,
that
very
fragrant.
Good, boy.
Yeah, they call it a semi-succulent. So this is in the same family as the oregano. This is called the Vicks plant, and it's basically the same components of Vicks that you would use if you're congested. If you have a chest cold or something, so you would boil the leaves and breathe the vapors, and it gives you that
Vicks Vapor Rub. So Julian, what else do we got here?
We got some pigeon pea.
Wow, what is that?
Tell us about pigeon pea.
So it has like these pods that come out, and then there's tiny seeds inside of them.
Yeah, which are
that
your
you
peas.
can boil and eat.
That's right. We just had some, right?
Yeah.
We just had some. That's our dinner, but we were a little hungry, so we ate some.
So awesome.
But this is a cool shrub. It's like a small tree or a large shrub kind of thing that it actually improves your soil by putting nitrogen back into the soil. So it's a good companion plant, and it grows really fast. And so it's also a good kind of nurse crop to plant next to a smaller fruit tree, or something that might need a little shade, a little shelter, a little protection. And then when it grows fast, we call it chop and drop. So you prune it and you drop it around your fruit tree. And so it's free mulch and fertilizer.
Okay, awesome.
And then the bonus is in fall and winter, it fruits prolifically, or it seeds, I guess you'd say, and it makes all these peas. So if you go to Jamaica, they call them gungo peas. If you get peas and rice in Jamaica.
Yeah, man. We get the gungo pea. We
go
put
to-
it in the pot, man. We stir it up.
Gunga pea, yeah. And you go to Puerto Rico, they call it gandules. Arroz con gandules. That's like the Puerto Rican national dish.
Okay, cool.
In India, it's the original dal, if you like Indian food.
Wow.
They've been cultivating this for thousands and thousands of years. It's an amazing plant.
And Zuri, Soul, what do we have next?
This is a moringa.
Wow.
You can, once it starts giving you green leaves, you can pick them and start eating them.
Wow. It must be delicious,
And
huh?
there's tons of moringas everywhere.
Wow.
You go in the stores, planted in the ground, and also just made by the soil.
Ah.
Wow.
Yeah, these improve the soil too, and they grow really fast. It's a tree, but it's kind of softwood, and if you want to keep getting the leaf, which isn't really what we would call delicious necessarily, like it's a little, you know, a little horseradishy, but if you put it in a smoothie, it's really good. But if it's not the type of leaf that you're just going to eat handfuls of it, probably. You can throw it into your curry or your soup or your stew or something. It's full of nutrient, more nutritious than almost any other leaf on any other tree. So if you look it up, it's high in calcium, manganese, protein, vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin D, all, like pretty much across the board. It's a good.
How big does it get?
It'll get to, you know, in certain environments it can get to be pretty big, like 50, 60 feet.
Okay.
But generally around here, the high winds will kind of prune the big branches, and so it'll stay more around 20, 25 feet. But it has big, you know, these white flower blooms on them that attract all the pollinators. Smells great. Every part of the tree is edible, including the root and the bark. Medicinal, edible, good for weight loss, good for, you know, protein source, aminos. Like, it's a healthy thing to add
Ben
in your
doesn't
diet.
need any weight loss though. We can't all be like
some
beautiful
weight gain.
Ben. We can't all be like beautiful
You
Ben.
can help with weight gain too if you're trying to get. That's the African blue basil. So
This
one
is the African blue basil, and everybody has it like similar times, and you can see it like almost everywhere in the world. You can see it
in the
Mexico,
Banana River yard.
Banana River Yard.
There we go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Our grand finale today at the OGs, and once again, I'd like to thank our OG right here,
Yeah, man.
Ben Thacker, the organic gardener. Tell us a little bit about your shop that you got down the road.
Well, this is sort of our little COVID pivot. I had a job working for a family foundation in South Florida, doing food forest at lower income properties and stuff, and that kind of fizzled out with the COVID thing, and so we had been starting this project as a side thing, and now it's sort of morphed into a main thing. But we're over at the Lori Lane Plaza, 1301 South Patrick. We're on the north side. We had a little half-acre lot there that had been sort of grass and sand for years. I approached the owners, and they were all about doing some sort of community garden food forest thing, and then it's sort of, I'm working with Ryan Gibbons. He's his parents are the owners of the property, and we sort of just hit it off, and we see eye to eye on the vision, and we're intending to be a community space with an educational focus. For now, we're selling fruit trees and hard to find edibles and perennials and stuff. We're doing kids workshops. We're getting ready to do grown-ups workshops. We're doing yoga in the yard with Yoga Art Lounge in the plaza with us there. Yeah,
We got to get Mark Longnecker to do a yoga.
Oh,
Mark
yeah,
Longnecker,
yeah,
are
man.
you out there?
Yeah, I see you on IG, man.
Come on,
Yeah,
Longnecker.
You're invited.
Come to the Banana River Yard. Give
Yeah.
us a yoga. I might actually show up for that one, Mark.
There you go,
It's
there
right
you
down
go.
the road.
Namaste.
Banana River Yard. Wow.